This is a Little Empire podcast. Visit us at littleempirepodcast.com.
Are you going to play that dastardly intro again?
Ow! This movie's still fine.
One
One of the guys, that guy's screw. One of them's a hot. His name is Johnny. One of them looks like Johnny Depp. You forget that films are supposed to have a point.
Alright! Thank you so much. Welcome along to the worst idea of all time, episode 22, live from the Clinton Theatre in Portland, Oregon. My name is Simply Windley. My name is Guy Montgomery, and it is truly a pleasure to be here. Oh my goodness.
We just watched We Are Your Friends for the 22nd time, and here's some information that you people in the room were not privy to, but the people listening online are privy to because of the release order of the episodes. We just watched the film at 80% of its normal speed. A situation happened where last night in San Francisco
We're running a little behind schedule.
Yeah, so we had to speed the movie up slightly to make sure that we'd start the show on time. So we were watching it at 120% of its normal speed. And we made a commitment that to even out the score, we would watch it this evening at 0.8 times its normal speed.
This episode is carbon neutral, or something like that. It is.
Yeah, we've removed our time footprint. But let me tell you something, that was hugely damaging. Really damaging to the psyches of Tim and Guy Montgomery. We've forever changed men by the watch we had this week. Right from the get-go, the funny thing about music is, if there's anything that you're familiar with, audio-wise, very, you've got the natural rhythms of it, if you fuck with that whatsoever, it starts playing on your mind. And when you fuck with it to the extent that we did this evening, it makes you sick, like physically ill.
It slows down not just what's happening, but the very concept of time. And how you engage with it. It's funny, it's almost loaded with irony in that every week we crave the movie to provide something different.
Yeah.
And then, having had the movie do just that,
Yeah.
it made us feel very nauseous, very unwell.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, because this movie specifically, as I think we've speculated before, being a movie about electronic dance music, it relies heavily on its soundtrack. The soundtrack is more than a crutch. I would say it is sort of a load-bearing prosthetic limb.
That's a good description. And so now when you watch it at 80% its normal duration, it's 120% its normal duration, it's 80% its normal speed. It has a quality where the highs are higher and the lows are much, much lower. Like disproportionately lower. The lower bits are 5 times as low. The higher bits are about like 1.1 times as high as they were before.
Yeah, the first thing, and you're almost disappointed in yourself to notice, and that it's just, this observation dragged itself the whole way across the movie, but the first thing that happens if you slow life down by 20% is everyone in it seems way more drunk. And so the movie this week read is like, well, of course all of this stuff's going to go wrong because you need to lay off the booze.
Everyone here is fucked 24/7. So yeah, you're not going to achieve your dreams of being an Instagram creator because you're fucking wasted, bro. And also black coffee down your throat.
Also, you spend no time developing app ideas at all. It's such a weird choice of what's someone you idolize? Idol? Mentor?
Yeah, idolize.
Is it an idol? It's a very odd choice of idol.
Hey. Believe in yourself.
Thank you. I'm trying. But when you tell me to believe in myself in front of everyone, it kind of undermines the idea I could have without your help.
There's a good people here, right? This is a great turnout. Give yourselves a round of applause. I'm pointing my mic at you not in like controlling ways, just so that it'll get picked up on the podcast for everyone to. So just so it's confirmed we're not insane. How good would that be though? We're like, guess what, everybody? We're going to Iceland, and then we put on a gig, and then we like just pumped through a lot of audience noise into a closet where we were recording.
And we announced a world tour and sold no tickets.
Yeah.
So we just went to the places to do the podcast in the privacy of our hotel room. That is the definition of art, because it's spending more money than what that outcome is worth.
It's very quintessentially us though.
Yeah.
It's just so us.
But you big bastards, you capitalist pigs, presumably all employees of the Blades Pizza that shut down in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
They're inferior quality products. 180 seconds for a pizza is not fast enough in this town. People have got places to be.
I think it's quite the inverse. I feel like Portland, Oregon is a place that gets right to the artisanal part of Blaze Pizza and not the speed.
Absolutely.
Everyone is doing their own version of the artisanal ingredients. It's like you get someone who's gotten rich on Etsy making, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I've never bought a goddamn thing like that.
It's a craft snowwear website.
Is there a reason it's called
Yeah,
Etsy? What does that mean?
You've taken the word Etsy
Yeah.
and you put a K in the middle of it.
So I've added a sound to it. It's
Yeah,
just
you've added a
Etsy.
whole letter.
Etsy.
You've increased the word
Am I
by
saying it
20%.
right? Am I saying it right now? Etsy.
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 I don't know
What does
where
that mean though?
It's presumably an acronym. Every time someone, yes, because every time I go on it, someone says, yeah, I'll buy it. I bought a shirt. I was hoping
You said yes to a shirt?
Yeah, I did. I was hoping to wear it. It was an Etsy shirt. I bought it. It was handmade by someone presumably in Portland, Oregon. All it was the tile of Hans Mollman getting hit in the groin by a football, but a whole shirt. It was sewn by hand.
One image like blowing up, or like a tessellated image of
you know, when you're on your PC as a child and you got to choose between
tile or stretch.
Yeah, I chose tile.
That's cool. And you said yes to that.
Yeah, and the person said yes to my money and absolutely not to providing me with the ammunition.
You said, so you ordered the shirt and you haven't received it?
Yeah, well...
So you said yes and they said no?
No, they also said yes and then physically communicated no. By way of not providing me with the goods I bought.
Right.
Now, I don't know whether or not I bought it from Etsy or the CD subsidiary website Etsy. Which would make a lot of sense for why it didn't make it to me.
It's the same but cheaper, and there's ecstasy on the site as well. It's like a crossover with the dark web. It's a little bit of Silk Road injected into Etsy, if the Portlandites are familiar with that particular network. Anyway, Shining Light, let's dive in.
Right
let's
on.
do it.
Okay, let's get down to business.
You know what we need? We need an intro for the Shining Light, like a musical intro. Do it again so we can get it in stereo. You can really hold a note.
Yeah, I was channeling.
I didn't know you had that in you.
You know the theme song from Mr. Bean?
Yes.
And a spotlight comes in here. Such a polite audience. That was like watching a gymnast try a pretty easy round off and fail, and you being like, well, you know what, they gave it a red hot go.
You came out here, you made it to Beijing, I appreciate that. You're like, air pollution, don't give a shit. You've got a round off to show off to the world. You still fucked it up on the international stage, and you guys were good enough to be like, oh, they're going to be crippled when they get back home. In the room right now, let's applaud them, make them feel good about
That was
themselves.
the participation ribbon of applause breaks, for which we are immensely grateful. So I've got my shining light written down here, Tim.
Yep.
On a napkin, much like the late great J.K. Rowling wrote the first. She is alive, but notoriously tardy. I mean, we will keep working with her because, yeah, she writes great books, but god damn it. Buy a watch, learn how to read it. So the beauty of watching the movie...
That's pretty great if you interpret that as anytime someone says the late great. You're like, why are so many amazing people not able to schedule themselves correctly? Like, is that Venn diagram so weirdly constructed where if you are a certain level of performance and creativity or intelligence, you can't possibly be on time because you're just too busy setting your own rules.
I also think the reason it's misinterpreted often is because a lot of people are saying the late great person X are unaware that the person, in addition to being notoriously late and great, is also presumably dead. And so the late great, you know, Charlie Chaplin is like, yeah, well, he's going to be late at pretty much every meeting. He's not showing up.
Yeah, which is the ultimate late, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't get later than dead.
Put it on a tea towel. So, the great thing about watching the movie, 20% slower than it is usually broadcast, is that it gives you the opportunity to engage with, you know, mise-en-scene and parts of the film which are otherwise, you know...
Someone did media studies at high school.
That is
it's you.
100% correct. That's exactly what I did. And we really gave our teacher a very hard time.
Did you?
Yeah.
Was it a woman or a man?
It was a man, Peter Houston.
Quick shout out to PA.
If you are listening, Peter Houston, like we were a lot of those things that you thought were pranks. They were absolutely pranks. You got pranked, bitch. But the thing is that the movie is slow paced means that you get to pick out parts of it that you don't otherwise get to see. You know,
that's
like
right.
we
Instead of previously just a flash and now 1.2 times the flash.
That's right. And accordingly, we like to bill ourselves as experts of any movie we watch repeatedly.
Correct.
We like to say that we are, you know, the world-leading... what you are in a room with right now are the two premier world-leading experts on the 2013 box office smash, Grown Ups 2. Okay?
Yes.
Two world-leading experts in the field of Michael and Patrick King, sorry.
And Mike Metra's Pikelet Kings.
Yeah. Experimental recipe.
It was just like From Dusk Till Dawn. 3 directors, bang them in one movie, let's see how it turns out.
Not well.
Not well at all. It's never worked.
And no one is more qualified to tell you that than us, the world-leading experts on Sex and the City too. Thank you. And accordingly, we are also the world-leading, or at least approaching world-leading expert status on We Are Your Friends.
Yes.
And in spite of that, there's still stuff that if we had not watched it 20% slower, would have passed us by.
And has in the previous 21 watches of it, right?
That is 100% correct. And so, my shining light, with this in mind, is a man. Yeah, you agree. You've weirdly been mirroring our watch cycle of this film. Exactly. It's weird that we didn't sync up and do it together. Like, it's weird to do it by yourself. It's really weird to do it by yourself.
For those of you listening at home on the internet, someone was talking in the crowd.
But making agreeable noises, as if to say, the point he's about to make, as specific and unlikely as it is.
I don't mind the heckle if it's on my side. I just need to let everyone in on it. That's it, you know? That's the whole thing.
You've got a great attitude.
Thank you.
Sure. In terms of attitude, deserves an applause. There was a guy, one very sarcastic yay to round out the track. That yay is my spirit animal. You don't deserve anything you're given, you piece of shit. No, so it's at the music festival in Las Vegas when Zicoli and Somali finally let their guards down and embraced their forbidden romance.
Yes, animalistically.
And they kiss. And the first thing I noticed is that
it wasn't what I was talking about when I said animalistically.
What were you talking about?
I was talking about after the kissing.
What happens after the kissing?
After the kissing, there's some heavy petting. How disgusting is that turn of phrase? It's real American too. Like, I don't think anyone else says it except for this country. That's why I've tuned into it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, it was a good
Heavy
day.
petting. Because to me it's like, and listen, this is going to sound shocking, but when you listen to the previous episode, Guy's the one who has set the bar now. We're in a different zone now. Heavy, like, yeah, just fucking you listen to it. Heavy petting sounds to me like someone doing this to someone's genitals, just like giving it a good, like, oh, good boy. Or girl, you know, like it works both ways. But it's such a weird turn of phrase.
The origins of heavy petting, you know, they're not good. We've appropriated it as something which it's okay to say, more of a do in essence, but heavy petting traditionally, that was a federal crime. That was punishable by exile. Yeah, there's another word for it in the rest of the world. We call it bestiality, bro. But one high-ranking persuasive lawyer was like, no, you accuse me of bestiality. What I am guilty of is the logical extension of a date gone well.
I am having trouble following you because I thought I was on your buzz. It would be like, if you take a low-level bestiality, a bestiality light, if you will, it'd be like, this is my... Hold on for a second. And it'd be like, this is my pet. This is simply some heavy petting. This is the bestiality. But then you brought it back to humans before you kind of got to that part, which confused the hell out of me.
You're still on the... We're on the same page. Heavy petting was...
Speaking of page, how good is he at 80% normal speed?
He brings a real different intensity and a real intensity. He's visibly drunk, but somehow what he says has more meaning.
Yeah, he's got even more weight than before it, but it makes less sense, which doesn't stack up for me, but I'm very appreciative of.
What I was saying is that the origins of heavy petting, it started innocently enough. It was a tummy scratch, which of course is how a lot of...
Hold on, we're talking about humans or animals?
Animals!
Okay, sweet.
But you cannot commit bestiality with a human.
That's true.
And, you know, I will argue with anyone in the room on that point.
Guy's very liberal in his views about that.
But it was just an innocent tummy scratch.
Yep.
And then it was with a dog. The border collie, if I remember correctly.
The smartest of dogs.
Yeah, they're very, very intelligent.
A collie among borders.
Yeah.
A border among collies.
And the half-used lipstick came out. From the tummy scratch, the half...
You're taking this podcast in a brand new direction on the live show. And I don't understand it. I don't understand the rationale. It's a place we've never been to on this 3-year voyage. Yeah. It's so strange.
All I'm
we get you in front of a crowd, you get very hypersexual on it.
All I'm trying to... I'm not a fan of peace. You know, I'm not the record. I'll tell you.
No one was suggesting it.
Yeah. Way more of a sex with humans guy. That's
okay. And I've always liked it about you.
Yeah.
That's why we've always hung out. And like Guy Montgomery talks a lot of shit, does a lot of shit. But one thing I like about him, more of a sex with humans kind of guy. That's what I'm for.
More of. There is a small grey area, but by and large, more of a sex with humans.
When did we land on your shining light?
I'm getting to it.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting to close off this bestial thought.
Yes.
Well, I pretty much... I mean, you've now got the origins of it.
Oh, no, okay. So with it, so Collie and Somali,
yeah.
they're in the hotel room.
No, not in the hotel room.
Oh,
at
okay.
the music festival.
Oh, yes.
So immediately as they realise their sin and they break the heart of Jonesy from the Feelers and kiss, first of all, that moment had as much gravity at 80% speed as it does ever. It is a very well executed piece of filmmaking. They capture the feeling of being high on drugs and feeling passionate towards someone with a plot. And, you know, all power to maximum.
Can I challenge anyone, wherever you are on the spectrum, unless you're an asexual person, to see Zac Efron or, what's her name?
Emily Ratajkowski. Close to that.
And not be super attracted to one of them, or kind of both of them at the same time.
If not attracted to either of them individually, attracted to the idea of them making another person.
Yeah.
That's what it
Not
is.
even necessarily, and in that way, not even in a sexual way, but in just an appreciation of biology.
Yeah, just,
Like slightly eugenicsy. Just being like, you know how your kid's going to turn out? Perfect. Like, literally unbeatable.
it's so funny because sometimes you see attractive people who accidentally, presumably, have an ugly child.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, that must hurt double time.
I don't think they might though. That's something that got built into our DNA, is that we're blind to our own kids' ugliness.
Really?
I think so. Don't you reckon?
Yeah, that is a wonderful...
Our parents told us we were beautiful
Yeah.
babies. Demonstrably.
Look at that.
A half-truth.
And that's instilled enough self-confidence, you know, with this self-flagellating piece of shit.
Can I say, for everyone, which is most people who can't see what I'm going right now, I just want to give you a rundown of this top half. It's just so good. It's maximum guy, is what it is. So it's kind of like, it's what I would call a bucket hat, but the brim is a little bit smaller than you'd normally get on a bucket hat, and it's slightly firmer because it's like a cheap version of felt. And the colour of the hat, what is it?
It's towel. It's made of towel.
So then like it's a thing? Like a fabric?
Am I wearing it? Is it not therefore by definition a thing?
Holy fuck, it is towel. That's so fun. So it's a hat made of towel material, and the colour is like a sort of powder...
Keeping it teal, baby.
Teal. It's a powder teal, as I was going to say. And then we go down from there, and we've got a polar fleece number with long sleeves, which is just like a slightly darker teal with a bright yellow pocket, and the whole thing just fucking works.
When I was leaving...
And you look like you feel good.
Oh,
too.
when I was leaving the tiny house that we are staying at in Portland, we are genuinely staying at, they call it tiny, it's only small.
Fucking Portland.
Yeah. We both fit in there, no worries, and we are regular sized. So, yeah, it's a fucking one way to a 1-star review, idiots. But when I was leaving the regular sized house, I looked in the mirror and I was like, it might be too much teal.
Oh, okay. Did you? I'm sorry for giving you a rundown.
Well, especially because there are 2 shades.
Yeah.
But I feel so good about it now that you said
No,
that.
it works.
Thank you. So my shining light, if you would let me,
Sorry.
is
Channeling fashion police for a second.
the late, great Joan Rivers, who we have a meeting with next week, by the way.
She won't turn up on time for due to her being deceased.
It's a real shame. So Sophie and Zaccoli, they're kissing and they've captured the moment of it beautifully.
Yeah.
And in the background, in the back right of frame, there's a guy in a black and white plaid shirt.
Plaid?
Plaid?
Have you been saying plaid this whole time?
Yeah?
Keep going, sorry.
What do you guys say? Yeah, you're all wrong as well.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Don't let me slow you down. They're not here.
So yeah, he's in the background of frame and he's out of focus, but his...
You guys are here, I'm sorry I said that. That was really disrespectful to the room, I apologise. I feel like I've railroaded him so many times, and ironically I'm doing it probably a fifth.
No, it's fine.
But you do you.
The guy is just acting up a storm. He's got like about 5 seconds of screen time.
Mm-hmm.
The director presumably told him he's going to be out of focus for the duration of his time on screen.
Yeah.
Do you think that impacted his performance 1 jot? Because the answer is no. He is either A, tremendously excited by the drop that the DJ is about to bring,
Yes.
or B, tremendously excited by the blessed union of the 2 best looking people at the music festival, or 3, so off his face on drugs and in supreme disbelief that at the same time his favourite DJ is playing his favourite song,
James Reed the Fearless from his favourite New Zealand rock band.
His favourite 2 good looking people are finally hooking up at the music festival.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine being at a music festival, and this kind of works the other way, you could be off your face or not, and just be staring at 2 people who are quite good looking, just being like, now kiss. But for like a couple of hours. They're just sort of following them, but like a lot of steps back so they don't see what you're up to. And then they do, and you're like,
Yes. This is the thing. Me personally, I cannot imagine that. That is not in keeping with what I'm like at music festivals.
I could be
But
that
the
dude.
decision,
I could see me being that
the
dude.
decision that this character actor made tells me, yes, this person specifically can imagine exactly what you're describing.
Yeah.
And execute it perfectly. And that was my shining light. Oh. What was yours?
Well,
Yeah.
so we should probably do the theme again if we're going to do another shining light.
At the flip side of the napkin, bruh.
I never noticed before. You know how bad that's going to sound outside of a room with a bit of acoustics? Just go straight over to the mic.
No, I have no idea. Frankly, not my problem.
Something happened in this episode which I've never noticed before, and that's always going to be a shining light when you're in the 20s. And that is Jardad/Dadhead. In one of his very few and far between lines of dialogue in this movie, mentioned to his son that the toilet is still broken. And now that I'm replaying it in my head, I don't know if it's true, because it says... Yeah, he fucking does. He says, you haven't fixed that roof yet, and the toilet's still broken. And I've never noticed it before. It took 21 previous watches and a 0.8 times speed of normal to get there.
Because if you slow down the Peanuts parents warble noise,
Yeah.
they actually
It's real words.
That in real time. It's
Yeah.
actually a sentence.
So, I guess where my brain went on it was, you can have a roof that hasn't been repaired in a while, especially in California, and it's fine because there's not a lot of rain, right? So that's like, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You want to fix it at some point, but it's not a steaming hot priority. To have a broken
I'll
toilet,
tell you what is a steaming hot priority.
a busted shitter.
Is that steaming hot mess in the corner of your ensuite.
100%. So,
The other thing is, it's insane that someone would have to tell the other person who presumably uses the toilet
yeah.
that it's broken. Because traditionally, everyone who uses the toilet would be pretty fucking aware
Oh, yeah.
that the toilet is broken.
You're onto it from the first like half hour of that shit happening if it's in your own abode. And we see into Jarhead and Dadhead and Dad Mum's house, and like they're doing okay, but it's not like a grandiose house. I don't think they've got an ensuite. I think they've got one central shitter that they're all using. And if that thing is down, what the fuck is everyone up to? And why do they keep like relying on Jarhead, a man who has proved himself completely unreliable, to fix it for everyone? It's so important.
No, it's not. It's totally reasonable that they expect Jarhead to fix it. And I'll tell you why. Because they are disciplining their son. Okay? They are disciplining their 20-something-year-old boy who is yet to leave home. He has a very good-looking friend who's been living with them for 6, 7, 8, 9, or 9 years.
Units of measure.
Yeah.
Never we are told.
And they're like, okay, I know that with hindsight it's regrettable we chose to make an example out of the busted toilet thing. But if we give up on this and fix the toilet and don't make him do it,
Yeah.
he is never going to learn, and he
Right.
is beyond helping. And it's just like, they are just
Uber responsible parenting.
super unfortunate victims of circumstance. Like, every day they're like, why did we decide to make an example out of the toilet?
Like, there are consequences for your actions, and the consequences involve us all. And the
Yeah.
consequences, we have to deal with the
The
problem.
consequences involve of the toilet having a moat of your grandma's sick because of your refusal to fix it. And her inability to use it without throwing up all over yourself.
Dig that. Dig that in a big way.
Yeah, I dig that too. Portland didn't dig that one so much.
We interrupt this garbage audio quality of a live recording to bring you crisp, clear studio vocals.
That's right, we have sold out in the biggest way possible. Our recordings from now on will be of terrible quality, but all of our advertisements will be in only the highest definition audio.
That's right. It's time for an ad midway through the show. Who saw that coming? No one, because this is a brand new sponsor to get involved with the worst idea of all time. You guys, we've finally made it. We're a real podcast now because Audible.com have gotten on board.
We're applauding ourselves.
You good things,
This
guy.
is the only reason we got into podcasting in the hopes that Audible would one day approach and sponsor us, and that day is right now. For those of you who don't know about Audible, it is a fantastic service that provides all sorts of audio content, books, comedy, specific stuff that isn't available anywhere else.
Premium digital spoken information and entertainment available for you on the web.
There you go. It's like a podcast, like this podcast, only better, with 100% less Tim and Guy. And it's offering our listeners, those are you, the listeners of the worst idea of all time, a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audible.com/try now and browse the unmatched, unparalleled, incomparable selection of audio offerings they have right there. Download a title for free and start listening. It's that easy.
I have been tempted because, fun fact about me, I've never read the Harry Potter books.
Oh.
But I saw Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone as read by Stephen Fry, who I adore, and I'm thinking it's a pretty tasty morsel. Maybe I'll pick that up.
The beauty of Audible, the frontier, is that I like Alan Partridge. And he's just released a new travel book called Nomad. I read his book, I, Partridge, we need to talk about Alan, analog, the old style. Now I can get his new book and listen to Alan Partridge dictating it the way it was intended by the gods of comedy.
Truly a fantastic service. Sign up now. Audible.com is spelt the following. audible.com/try now. That's audible.com/try now. Get yourself smarter without having to read a book, you dummies.
Yeah. Thanks, Audible. And now, back to Portland, as told through the recording on my phone.
The 80% speed threw a spotlight onto another fact that we can't. It's so strange. Isn't it so strange, the things that crop up?
Oh, Tim, isn't this entire thing so strange that literally all of these people of their own volition paid money to be in a room?
There's been two things that we've mentioned separately and never tied them together, and that is the fact that there is a great mystery surrounding what's happening to I just got a shirt on. Well, he's still got a t-shirt on, but the point of this is down. The two components are Zaccoli's mum is gone. In mysterious circumstances, we're not sure what's happened to her. The only clue we have...
Presumed drowned,
based on the evidence we have, but unconfirmed. The only evidence for sure, the only evidence-laden conclusion is that she taught piano at one point and may still. And
if you can play the piano underwater, which is a question for the scientists, not us.
I'll take a punt and say you definitely can't.
Then she's probably not teaching piano anymore.
True. Also, Zaccoli doesn't have the knowledge that we do. That's the difference. But what was the thing in the movie this week that we saw that was he doesn't know what his dad is up to?
It was when he's on the phone to Tanya Romero, when he's busy ruining someone's life for his job at Gold Star Realty Solutions. And
by the way, goldstarrealtysolutions.com. Go on it. Let's see where I've redirected it now.
Yeah. It's very funny, actually. This is quite a detailed deep cut, but it amused me no end when it happened. We've got a tour poster for this particular tour featuring San Francisco and Portland, and at the bottom of it, we sent a misprint to the designer, and it printed as at the bottom there are the websites which say tickets available at blazepizza.co.nz. It's a main name, Tim also knows, and goldstarrealitysolutions.com.
Which I don't own, and I have a funny feeling being in Portland, someone's going to buy live as we're in here because I'm not going to get a chance to.
And Tom, sorry, your name is Tim.
I am.
When I spotted the error, I told Tim, and he was like, "Fuck, someone probably owns that domain name." And I said, "Hold on, Tim. Gold Star Reality Solutions would be a company which provides a solution to reality."
Yeah, you know what it is? It's a Seattle startup specialising in virtual reality where you can eat nothing but concrete and fuck nothing but planet. That's the whole thing. It's an app, and All very high resolution, very high frame rate. Feels like you're right there, fucking diamonds and everything. Puts you right in there.
I have nothing. You are 100% correct. What were we
What the
talking
fuck were we talking? Oh, so Richard.
It's Richard.
Richard is Nicoli's dad's name, which was the evidence when he says wistfully, that was my dad's name. He's talking to Tanya Ramiro, and a son pipes up in the background, and he says, sounds like you got a little monster back there. Which if you said that to a dude would be oddly sexual.
Sounds like you got a little monster back there.
Yeah, isn't that the line?
Yeah, it's,
Collie delivers to
I'm a dude, I'm trying to interpret it sexually.
Oh, sorry. Alright, well, we're both having a turn of being creepy dudes tonight.
I wasn't a creepy dude. The person who invented
You talked about
bestiality.
bestiality last time.
Because I know about history, that doesn't make me the problem. Sorry for reading a book, bro. But
We're talking about Zacoli's lineage, and he's on the phone call to Tanya Ramiro. The kid pipes up. Says, sounds like you got a little monster. She says, I don't know what she says, but she mentions that the kid's name, you'd think I'd have that by 20 watches. She mentions that the kid's name is Richard, and Zacoli's taken back and says, oh, that's funny. It's actually my dad's name, Richard. And the whist in his eyes. Is that weird?
yeah.
Because I said
you know, you can
wistful
be-
is the adjective, then whist has got to be the noun.
That's true.
If you're full of whist, then whist is a thing.
Wisty eyes came about before misty eyes.
Right.
So I think those dreamy, wisty eyes.
And so it seems like it's heavily suggested that Zacoli, either his father has passed away or he doesn't know where he is as well. So it's like, here's this orphan DJ, which I guess is like, that's why you would be the crime DJ. It's not comedy, by the way. So
I guess the heartbreaking thing is people who have all of the information, knowing that these characters within the movie are trapped without being provided with all the information, is knowing that no matter how successful Zacoli becomes as a DJ, you cannot make a song so hot that it revives your mother from the ocean. It's true!
Alright, that's it. We need to grab that joystick and pull up, and what we're going to do is we're going to change course, get a little emotional, and more importantly, get a little sentimental, because we are getting sentimental with James Reed. Oh, yeah. I was already 20% slower.
I'm gonna put my finger in your ear.
Like it.
It's quite
Right,
similar, isn't it? It's a sentimental gesture.
Did you feel sentimental this evening, or should I feel sentimental tonight?
I felt no sentiment towards it. I felt disrespected, if you're asking.
It's interesting because the clue we have is that it fits inside of a MacBook Pro box and that it's a self-serving gift that James Reed from the Feelers gives to Zacoli the crying pasta DJ. And I feel like this week, and this may have something to do with the fact that I was watching it at 20% slower normal pace, but it is a time manipulation device that fits self-contained within the box of a laptop. So what this does is it slows all of the other genres of music down 20%, except for Premiere pristine EDM, which as we know is the perfect genre of music.
So is the measure of Premiere EDM, is that whether or not it remains at the same speed, or is there a metric by which the machine judges it?
If our Lord and Saviour, James Reed from the Feelers, has deemed it so, it is EDM. That is how that works.
So
It's sacred music.
So the machine
They're like
represents
hands.
an interpretation of sacred EDM, and the machine's judgment is James Reed from the Feelers' judgment.
That's correct. So
It's not a time manipulative device, it's just this really super self-serving, aggrandizing creation, which is like,
No,
the music I like will play at the same speed,
Yes.
and the music I don't like, I will deliberately sabotage by slowing down.
no,
Go through this.
and this is the crucial bit you haven't understood. It's not the music he plays, it is the music contained within the universe we live in. So this device isn't like something he puts it through. This is a device which is changing the molecular structure, subatomic structure of the world and universe that we live in, the plane of existence we exist on, so that all other kinds of music happen at 20% slower than they should. So when we are exposed to dubstep, which is actually 70 BPM because it's 140 BPM cut to half speed, we are now experiencing that at approximately 58. And when we're looking at house music, which traditionally speaking would be 110 to 140 beats per minute, we're actually looking at a casual 98 to 118 beats per minute. It's all gone wrong.
Technology,
except EDM.
the technology is so sophisticated.
Yeah.
And the actual concentrated power and focus of its application is so minor. It is fucking insane to me. This guy learned how to do this, and then his one application.
One man's minor is another man's major. Do you know who taught me that? Music. True.
I did not know that.
Because in the movie, every other week I've seen it, hardcore, you can't dance to that, but if you play the 80% its normal speed, quite palatable, and I could absolutely jam out to that in person.
And the funny thing about hardcore is if you slow it down by 20%, it just sounds like reggae.
Yeah.
Those two genres of music are literally the same thing.
So the sentimentality revolves around the fact that James Reed has an emotional attachment to Premier EDM and everything else gets afflicted with this horrible
And
kind
so
of
is he
curse.
giving Zaccoli a prototype or the first cab off the rank, so to speak, the first actual ready for
They
release?
seem like one and the same thing that you're describing.
Oh, so he didn't test the product at all. He was like,
He
this
didn't need
seems...
to, he's that good. The prototype is the finished product.
That is a terrible attitude.
I know. I know, from a technical
that is-
standpoint, but from a confidence
That is
standpoint.
the kind of truth that man's have the worst idea of all time. But
Yeah.
outside of the realm of this podcast,
Yeah.
that does not make any business sense.
Yeah, but luckily it worked, so what are you going to do?
Well, I'm gonna say I'm very excited to see what Zaccoli does with this. I suppose every song he makes, he will just immediately measure against this machine that he's been provided with and know whether or not it's ready for Summerfest. Right? I mean, that is
Yes.
the logical use of the gift.
Correct, bro.
The only thing that's going to slow him down, Zaccoli, the crying pasta DJ, is that the decks he has chosen to perform on for Summerfest are quite literally an arts and craft project he's been working on after school for 9 years, which is macaroni DJing. It's literally a DJ set, or like, what are they called? Decks. CDJs. That's what he plays from.
Turntables? Is that the word you said?
No, he uses CDJs.
Oh, okay, what an arsehole.
Turntables are what the dinosaurs DJ'd on, my friend.
Alright.
Here in Portland, they're DJing on mini discs. Did you know that?
Oh god, that would make me so fucking happy. If there was, I don't even know if that's technically possible, but if there was some way that it was like a twin mini disc deck that was interpreting a track 3, I think was the format of music. You know what, I'm getting off course.
That is true. There are DJs in Portland who trade exclusively by DJing mini discs.
I'm going to stop you there because we've got a no but before we run out of time, which is now. Right now. So, is there any point in time during the 80% watch of this film that you felt these guys are off the rails, they're off the beaten track, they're freeballing, freewheeling?
Well, as I said to can you just pass me the napkin?
No.
Well, that's okay because I didn't actually want the napkin. I was just referencing earlier when I said, can you pass me the napkin?
Right. It's a callback.
Yeah, as I said to him, can you pass me the napkin? But that's neither here nor there. Because the no but, if I may.
You may.
Yeah, and I'm going to. The thing is that obviously the lead actors in a film get given a lot of direction and a lot of instruction. They've got the actual working script to work from, so they've got lines of dialogue that they can build their idea of what the character's motivations are from. Mm-hmm. Extras, on the other hand, are more or less left to their own devices. Apart from a smattering of direction, they pretty much have to make up their decisions and their characteristics on the spot.
I'm with you.
And so there was a phenomenal piece of improvising taking place at the Looking Pool party.
Yep.
When Jarhead is very awkwardly invading a conversation between two people who, by all accounts, are getting along fine without him.
I want to just mention as well, I'm still very tickled by the concept of the looking pool.
Oh,
You did really well there. I didn't understand it at the time, and it really grew on me. Not a swimming pool, a looking pool. It's really good stuff.
It is the very definition of high art.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Because it's like, it's the most, like, especially in Los Angeles in drought season, it is the closest you can come to creating the hardest possible look but don't you touch.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, a theme which pervades all of art as part of its appeal, is because it's like we as full-grown adults go and look at something really up close and aren't physically or legally allowed to reach forward and touch it.
Do you know what it is? And this won't make sense to anyone in the room until you listen to the previous episode, which hasn't come out yet. It's a reverse mirage.
Oh, shit. That died in the room, but to everybody listening online right now, I can only imagine the depth of the chuckle you are having.
Anyway, sorry, we're in the middle of no bar.
Yeah, so pretty much at the looking pool party, Jarhead's interrupting a conversation, and there is an extra, a featured extra, who has made all sorts of interesting decisions in the background.
Yes.
Which Maximum Joseph was too busy focusing his maximum attention on the leads of the scene to notice.
Yeah.
But there is a woman in a bikini top, denim shorts, like strap-on high-heeled shoes, open-toed shoes, pretending to be unconscious in the background of the frame. Like this huge offer where she's like, yeah, sure, the party's happening, and also, I've overdosed on heroin.
I get it. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's a casual affair, I'll be the one that's passed out on that strike. I get it.
It's so sad to see because no one else in the scene knew that this extra had provided this backstory, so they all just act like it's fine.
Right.
So when you watch it without the context of the acting, it just is a standalone scene in the movie, you're like, okay, so these people are about to have a fight, but more importantly, someone should call an ambulance. That woman is dead.
Fucking well done, you. I'm amazed. That's a really good one. You pulled that out without the napkin, apparently.
Hey.
Oh, also, while we're speaking of the napkin, just because we're about to wrap this episode up, our third co-host tonight says hello to everyone.
Only in America do they applaud you carrying a knife.
So good. I love it a lot.
Not something to celebrate.
So that's it. That's going to do it for the episode. So, ladies and gentlemen of Portland, Oregon, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Give yourselves a round of applause.
Thank you.
This movie's still fine.
One of them dies, that goes screw. One of them's a hottie, his name is Jay. One of them looks like Johnny Depp, and his name is Johnny Depp.
Classic Maximum Joseph.
You forget that films are supposed to have a point.
Thanks for listening to this podcast. If you're thirsty for another, why not try...
And so far, all these Marvel films have delivered on their promise of to take a normal guy and turn him into a superhero. I challenge you to show me one Marvel film where a normal guy stays a normal guy and nothing weird happens to him.
Ant-Man.
No, you're wrong, because I believe in that movie he shrinks to the size of an ant.
Wow.
That might be normal to you, Joseph, but to me...
It didn't seem too, beyond the pale when it happened in the film.
Okay.
I saw it, I was like, nah, and what?
What else you got? Ant-Man?
Yeah. I guess when he commanded the army of ants, I was like, okay, well, that's not something you see every day.